Well, hi everybody, it's Leanne Greff with today's live video. I've got a lot to show today. Let's get started. Let me know if you're here, if it's your first time here, and where you're from. I'd like to see where everybody's from, who's watching. Okay, I'm gonna get my laptop synced up here. Ooh, all right, I'm on. Oh, gotta mute it here so I don't interfere. Okay, I don't see anybody on yet. You're ready to go? I've got the celebration catalog. We're in the last month of celebration. Oh, hang on a minute. I forgot my other flyer. We have, I don't know, 10 new items available. Good morning, Annette. Through celebrations. So there are 9 $50 items. You can see what's for 50, and then one $100 item. They're all free with a Stampin' Up! Order. So that is through February 28th. So these items, these new items, are from the current catalogs. So there are a few things, there's just one from the spring catalog, which is this one. That's the Enjoy the Journey paper. So that is free with a $50 order. And then the rest are from the annual catalog or a couple kits in our kit collection, which are interesting, all free for a $50 order here. So welcome everybody. Good morning. So everything is still available. I'm actually pretty surprised. I thought for sure some of these pretty papers would be gone really quickly, but they still have them in stock. So if you're waiting, don't wait too long. You never know what's going to run out. And I don't know if we always get notice when they run out of celebration things. A lot of other products, they do tell us, which leads me into a couple items that are unavailable right now. I'm just going to run through them if you're interested in some dies, stylish shapes, the gnomes dies, framed florets, queen bee and split texture, and Dainty Delight dies are all unavailable right now. They are out of stock. And there's various dates when they'll be in, but some are into March, and a couple of the punches, which I'm going to mention now, are into April and May. So they're really having trouble. They might not have ordered enough, I'm not sure, but the Country Bouquet, that heart and leaf punch, is unavailable, and the Easter Bunny punch just went unavailable as well. So that's really too bad. I think that one will be, oh gosh, I can't remember the date. I'm not going to say. The Lucky Clover punch is sold out and not coming back. They cannot get it back in time before the catalog is over. All the shipping issues they have right now. Red and burlap ribbon combo is out. The quatrefoil tile embossing folder is sold out, just temporarily, I believe. And the gold distress paper, those are all gone right now. You cannot get them. So I do want to reiterate, please, if you like my videos and following me, check in with, just Google Leanne Greff and you should find my new YouTube channel. I have a new email, so please, I hope people aren't emailing me with my old one because I got hacked, they stole it, I can't get access, and so Google is not responding to my request to get it back. So there's my new email. My new YouTube channel is under my name. You could also search under Flower Bug and you might find me. So please subscribe. I'm hoping to rebuild my subscriber list. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from you all. I appreciate that so much. Lots of great comments on my videos. Okay, I do have 2 mystery boxes left. Last week I mentioned for a $100 Stampin' Up! Order, you get a big box of mystery items. They're my retired items from the last year or so. They don't include a lot of holiday items. They're mostly from last spring and annual catalog. So the value is over $175 up to $200, and you get a minimum of these items right here. I ask that you use my current host codes, one of those 2. Don't use this one or this one. They are changing as we go. So everybody, we shipped out a bunch more yesterday from the weekend, but most of the rest you should have, some of you. if you ordered them. So thank you so much. I had started with 20 and I have 2 left. So I'm very pleased with how they went, and I hope everybody loves their new products. Okay, trying to think. Oh, let's get into door prizes. So last week the door prize was resin hearts for commenting and the Scenic Garden stamp set, which is a free item when you place a $250 order in the back of the celebration catalog. So I'm going to show you how to use these type of stamps today. I call them scenic, obviously, scenic stamps, that sometimes you can stamp in just one color. Sometimes there's an easy way to color them instead of all the individual little areas that you might normally want to color, which you think you have to do. So I'm going to show you some ideas with this. Anyway, the winners are Kimberly Neubauer and Brenda Crawford. Hey, Brenda, you're on. Congratulations. So Brenda won the stamp set and Kimberly won the resin hearts. So thank you so much for commenting and sharing on the videos. I really, really appreciate that. I love to see the feedback, who's watching, who's commenting. So yeah, for next week's prize, I have, let's see, I think it's called Expressions in Ink Ephemera Pack. Now there are a bunch of clear sequins in here and gold foil accents. You only see the white part on here, but this is a new pack. So that's for commenting. And then for sharing, I'm going to give away these 5 cards. Now this is from a previous card kit to go. So most of them are fun fold. So this one is a kind of a latch card. You can catch it right there. Isn't that pretty? And this one is like that. Great way to use your designer paper. And here is what I call my split front card. I just posted a video on my new channel that I had done previous. Here is a, gosh, who remembers the name of this fold? I feel like it's also a split front, but I can't remember. And this one's just a simple score down the middle at 2 1/8 and add your paper for a layer. So those are the 5 cards somebody's going to get for sharing this video, and this is for commenting for next week's prizes. So, okay. Oh, thanks, Susan. I'm glad. It's so nice. A bridge card. Thank you, Diane. Awesome. I'm so glad you liked your card, Susan. It's nice to have card samples in hand when you're making more. You can use them as samples. In fact, I have many people that when they're at club or they come to a class, they say, well, I don't give my cards away. They're my samples. They're my ideas. So, and that's one of the reasons I love to swap so much. I get great ideas from my swaps with my team or my fellow demonstrators that I swap with. So remember that there is a special deal for a demonstrator or for signing up with a starter kit right now that you get $175 in free product and only for $99. Now, if you decide to add on the new blue boho mini or the white mini, excuse me for the noise, it's $129 and you still get $175 in product of your choice. So that is the great deal happening right now through February 28th for getting the starter kit. And then you get to join my team. You already cased some of them. Awesome, Susan. I love hearing that. Okay. We have had, I think, 13, 14 new demonstrators in our Flower Bugs team in the last month or so. Been great. Love growing our team. We have a great Facebook group and sharing and challenges and prizes. I think I give away 12 prizes a month amongst the team. So yeah, we have a good time. This is my designer paper share. I have 2 left. So if anybody wants this, it is on my Flower Bug shop. You can get it right here on my Flower Bug shop. And that's where my glue stands are as well, which reminds me, I don't think I brought my glue over. So hold on a minute. So this is 95 sheets of 6x6 and it is $34, I believe. Hold on. There's always something, you know, when you do live, you think you have it all ready and something happens. So just the way it is. All right, I think that's all I have to share today. So ask me any questions. If I don't get back to you here, I will answer later. I'm going to play with these two stamp sets. These are in the Celebration catalog, and they are free with a $50 order. And I don't think there's a lot of samples out there. I don't think people are using, this one has been very popular from my gals who ordered, my people, but this one has not. And I think it's really pretty. It does remind me a little bit, especially this, of Italy or Spain or something. So, but I'm going to show you some ideas of stamps like this that you don't have to color always exactly and perfectly. Yeah, I'm going to show you some ideas. Okay, but before I do my ideas, I'm going to show you some swaps I received. So here's one. You can see that it's simply stamped in one color. Great card with little designer paper, split designer paper, a double greeting, all in the smoky slate. And this is one, I think I made this one for some samples, but I simply just stamped it in early espresso and added just a little colored door and a couple little pots that added some color to that and a little tag. And that's one of the greetings from the sending support. I really like that one. Here's another one, simply stamped in one color, just a couple scalloped dies and another sending thoughts and prayers, loving thoughts and prayers for that. That is soft succulent. Another one in gray with a little pink here. And this is another greeting. They're combining these, which I'm doing today as well. One color, no coloring. And this is just a pretty card that also has one of my favorite greetings. There are so many ways you might feel right now. And then in here is alone shouldn't be one of them. So some really nice sayings. You've got this. My shoulder is yours. It's okay not to feel okay. You know, there's sometimes you just don't have the words to support your friends. So this is, I thought, really interesting as well, with a textured layer inside and the same size die in the inside. I thought that was well done. That's done by Sue Kempter Miller. Okay, all right, so there's my samples. And we'll get on to what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use my Stamparatus because, yeah, it just helps get a nice inking. I tend to ink twice when I use this, and you'll see why I need this in just a minute, my Post-it note. Okay, Stamparatus is the bomb when it comes to, let's see what I'm trying to say, when it comes to stamping items nicely and perfectly, especially greetings and straight, and anyway, I've been using it a lot. So here's my first card. Now this one is actually colored, so we're going to use watercolor pencils and blender pen. So I don't know if many of you use that, but that's what we're going to do. And there is that. So I have the dimensions right there. And we need to stamp this image. So I didn't, usually when I do a lot of cards, I will do little marks. You can see my pen marks on here, so I know where to put the layers. But this was kind of a last minute addition. So I'm going to attempt to get this even. I can see my borders there. This looks pretty good. Okay, get my magnet in here where I have room for my magnet, maybe right there. Okay. So we're going to, I don't know if you can see that. Let me scoot this over just a little bit. So I like to have a stamp set under the flap here so it's nice and flat. And with the Memento ink pad, it's one of our only ink pads that has a firm surface on it for, on the foam. It's not foam, it's actually like a mesh. So actually that came out very well. So I don't even think I have to do it twice. So I'll just do that and just get some excess ink out of there in case before I start coloring. Now, honestly, Memento is not the ink I usually recommend when doing watercolor pencils because they are water-based, and Memento is also water-based. So I'm going against what I teach normally, but it worked out. So, so I'm going to do it. All right, so I just used, I think it's 4 colors. And one of the best things about coloring with watercolor pencils is that you do not have to be perfect. So this is my water, and I'm just going to kind of color that. And we'll add some green to the grass. And what I like to tell people, just scribble. Honestly, you don't have to be perfect. And I find a dull tip to be much more friendly than a sharp tip. So we're just going to quickly, if I can be quick about this, color, and then the blender pen does all the work for you. It's awesome. So a little bit over here. And then what I did was I came in with, that was Granny Apple Green, and this is shaded, or Garden Green, I guess. So then I come in and do a little bit more with the dark, and just to add some highlights or some change in color to some of the darker areas. And then I like to do, you can see how I'm just scribbling. I am rushing though. I don't like to make you guys wait while I'm coloring here. So just to add, and I want to almost go outside the lines because this is a really dark trees. So I want you to see the green. So I'm going to go a little above the area and just a little bit here and there. Just for some additional color. Okay. Then I think this is like a walkway. I'm going to do very, very light in Cajun Craze and very heavy on the fence posts. I want these dark. I could have gone for a different color, but I thought, well, I got this one out. It's going to be a brown fence. So how many of you have watercolor pencils? And how many have a blender pen to make it work? So these, I'm assuming these are like rocks. So that's what they're going to be in my mind. Going to be rocks. Okay, I think I might have it done. So I'm going to bring in my blender pen and make sure it doesn't have any color on it, first of all. And then I'm going to start with the lightest color. So this is the Pathway in Light Cajun Craze. Okay, then wipe off. Well, I'm going to go to the rocks, so they're the same color. So just add a little bit color here. I want it really soft. Okay, we'll do some of the green. And it just blends it all. You see there's no empty areas anymore. So I'm trying not to get into my fence. I probably should have waited to color the fence in case I mistakenly grab some of that that Cajun Craze. See how it's just all blending so smoothly? And I don't want to eliminate those dark green, what I call grass that I used with the Garden Green. So I'm liking that pretty well, and I'll just go in and finish now my darkest color. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna bring it out just a little bit so they can actually see that it is green and on those dark trees. Okay, so how fast was that? You can see that it picked up a little bit of color, and if I want to go back in and do a little bit more blending, I can add more color. But yeah, that's how fast that was. That's very simply done with the blender pen and these watercolor pencils that come in 2 different groups. So this is the small set. This was the latest set right here. This is called the Watercolor Pencils Assortment 2. Then we have a bigger one, and I didn't bring them over here, that is Watercolor Pencils Assortment 1. But you get a pack of blender pens to go with these, and you have everything you need, lots of different colors. The other thing you can do with the blender pen is you can take your ink pad, you could ink this on a block and pick up color with that, or you can squeeze your ink pad so you get a little bit in here and then just start coloring with that. Just pick up a little bit and color. So blender pens are awesome to color with, very forgiving. A lot of people prefer them. Yeah, I know, it's easy to forget about that when we haven't used them for a while. So now for this, and I didn't put that on my instructions, but you can see it's cut, and I call it a triptych, which is a triple scene, and these are going to be cut, I hope I remember this correctly, at 1 1/4 each one. So I'm going to bring that up, and that's my scoring blade. There's my first one. So I purposely started this piece with 3 3/4, so I knew I could cut that into 3 even pieces of 1 1/4. Does that make sense? So very simple to do. We will start, and as far as getting these even, I prefer to work, and when I started this, I started with a wider piece a larger piece, and I just work from one end over to find out how big I really need. Now I'm hoping that I'm lining these up well. If not, you just trim. And the last one, before I do the last one, I'm going to check, hey, it works out perfectly. So if this was not perfect, I would just trim a little bit on the edge and make it perfect. So you can always fix what you're working on. But I love these scenes where you can break them apart like this. I think they're so pretty. Okay, then we're gonna just add a little strip of black. Now, use my grid paper. And then from here, I'm going to pretty much estimate. I'm also looking at the lines above and below to make sure they're smooth and straight, and then my edges. So this card is super simple, nothing much to it. I'll just add some adhesive. And for speed's sake, I like to use the liquid glue, and then just line this up as straight as I can get it. And I didn't even add any embellishments. It's rare for me, but I just didn't see it on this card. I thought the scene was perfectly just the way it was. So see if I can get that to lay flat. There we go. Okay, so that's the first one. Call it a triptych. So that is using the In the Country stamp set. Super simple. I really like the scene. It's fun to color too. Okay, first one done. Now, let me see, which one do I want to do next? Yeah, I think I'll do this one. Okay, we're going to do spotlighting technique. And I did both scenes this time. So I don't know if you can see that, how they are lifted. The oval is lifted. Did a little bit of coloring on this one, but I'm using a different method this time. Okay, so the paper in the background of this is, oh, got it. Do my cheat sheet, turn that over. It's called Fancy Flora, and very unusual, kind of like a artist, what do they call this? There's a tool that they use, spackle knife, something like that. Palette knife painting. That's what it reminds me of. So really pretty, but great for backgrounds. I really like it. And this is one that a card I received in a swap, and that was from Linda Bowen. And I really like this layout that she has here. I'm going to copy that very soon and show you how to do that one. So yeah, that's a pretty card. Okay, so on here you got the measurements there, and we're going to, I think I'll do this one because I already have another one of those. So we'll do, wait, what color is my paper? I have to decide that. No, I guess I'm going to do this one again. Okay, so we're going to stamp like that, get my Stamparatus back in because I have the designer paper. Now here I did give myself these little measurements on my Stamparatus so I can know exactly, and I can test it out. I think it has to come off just a little bit. I can't let it lay down because it will not be, it's still inked. So I'm just kind of testing. There we go. Okay, so same ink. We're going to use our Memento Black. But like I said, I'm going to color it differently. And then the spotlighting technique is fun. But we're going to color. How many of you have done this? Coloring with the Wink of Stella. Okay, that looks good. Okay, put that away. So before I do that, I'm going to let it dry just a little bit and get my piece of paper on here and adhere that. Because I don't, right, if you start coloring right away, sometimes you can, well, I also have to die cut it. Sometimes you can smear the ink. Because I am using Memento, now the normal, when you're using water-based ink, which is Memento, you would color with blends, which are alcohol-based. So you always want to color, which I'm not doing, so don't do as I say and not as I do. Is that what they say? So anyway, you always want the opposite. So if you're using Memento, you want to use blends markers. So, but I'm doing the opposite. I'm using Wink of Stella and ink. So it's kind of crazy. Sometimes it works. But right now, what we're going to do is die cut. So the die that I'm using for this is from the Fabulous Frames dies. And I just thought, well, I liked the oval. I like the smallness of it. And so this is the Fabulous Frames dies. So we're going to use the mini. Now there's a couple of hints on using this mini machine. You always want to stagger your plates. And then if your plates start bowing a little bit, so when you press on here and you get, see how I got a little, I don't know if you can tell that, but there's a little bit of give here. When it presses down, then you flip it over. Because as you work, it's going to lift this and then you flip it over again. And some people just flip every time. So it's just what you want to do to keep your dies intact. So what I went for is I wanted the big tree. And so, but I also want it straight. So ovals are so hard to get straight. I think that's probably straight. Now, another thing that I should be doing, and I'm not, is using washi tape, because right now we don't have a magnetic platform. And so, yeah. But what you can see here is my plates are staggered. I'm going to even stagger them a little bit more. So long, short, medium. It doesn't matter which way you do it. But for this machine, which is so lightweight, you do need to stagger your plates. Very important. It's because you can't push. While you're pushing, the machine's going because there's no weight to it. It's such a lightweight machine. But it's so handy to have right on your desk. Okay, so in here we have holes on each end so you can poke out your stuck paper. You can use a toothpick too, that works very well. Okay, now we have our die. I'm going to show you a trick with the next card as well to make your greetings shorter easily. So there's our layer. So I'm going to just color this. I thought about coloring out here and leaving that black and white, but I don't think it's enough. All right, so we're using our Wink of Stella, and I'm going to start with green. And now when you do this and you pick up ink from your ink pad, you never want to re-ink your lid by pressing, because you have Wink of Stella here. So you want to wipe that out with a tissue before you start moving again. So so I just start coloring, and because I'll have to show you, it's glittery. Your whole card ends up being glittery. So I'm going to show you a close-up when I'm done here. I won't do it all, because it's I don't know how much you like to watch people color, how much time you have. I don't watch a lot of videos of other people. I just am too busy. Just got too much else going on. So it's really rare that I watch videos. So I'm going to use the same color for the trees. Maybe I will do it. It's kind of addicting to color. Kind of fun. There, did I get all the green? Okay. I didn't even do a lot of other color. In between, you just wipe off your color. Oh, I missed some. This right here is probably green too. Oh, did I do the path? I did do the path. I wonder if I can fix that. We'll see. We'll see. I think I'm trying to decide what color I used for that. Maybe, no, it wasn't this because there's no ink on there, so it must be gray granite. So, see what I can do with that pathway, if I can change that. Yep, I guess I can. A little bit green, a little bit dark. But then I'm going to do those, what I call rocks. Maybe a little bit more here. And the fence on that one, I actually, oh, I don't know what I used. It's hard to remember. But just so they're not there. Okay, now we go into blue for our water and our sky. And I'm using balmy blue. And I don't have a lot on here. So wipe off your color, grab, I have some way up in the corner that I'm going to try and bring in to work with. Really dark this time. Kind of want a watercolory look. So I'm being a little bit, I want those lines. Now on the sky, I want it really, really soft. So that's not as soft as I was hoping. Kind of brushing it up. Don't know why. That's not too bad. Could be doing circles. But what you could do is squeeze out a little bit of wink in here, and then you're going to have more, oh, that got dark, more softness. So that's not too bad. But you know, I think for contrast, I want this even darker. So I'm really going for this watercolory look that, that's pretty good. Easy done. Okay, and you just wipe off, and then when you go into your next color, and you can squeeze, like on the sides here it says push. If you do that, you're going to get more into the barrel and more comes out. I don't want to do that because I don't need it right now, and then I just lose it, so I don't need to do that. Okay, so layering this, I did pre-stamp my greeting on here. Hopefully I got the right size. I can see I've got a little bit of a bad edge here on this. You see that? I don't know, maybe my cutting wasn't quite right. So let's see. Very nice and narrow border. Okay. So how many of you still have things you want from Celebration? Are you done? Are you happy with what you've got? Okay, and then, so it's really easy to line these up because you have the printing or the stamping to help you. So you can kind of see I can work on those fence posts there. Otherwise, ovals can be difficult to line up. Now for this, I want this popped up. So I think 2 is going to be just fine. And again, I can line up those fence posts and put that on there. So just that, see how that covers up that busyness of that, but it brings in a little bit of the color as well. So I really like doing these diagonal because from this piece of designer paper, I'm covering up the dimensions, that designer paper, 5 by 3 3/4 cut diagonally. So as you can see, here's one diagonal, here's the other diagonal, makes 2 cards. So it's a great way to, I thought when I was going to do a whole layer, I'm like, oh, I can't waste that. I can't waste that. So I didn't. Oh, this goes in the center of this card, just so you know what that was for. All right, so let me hold these up closer to the screen. See if you can see the shimmer on there. I don't know. Let me move over here a little bit. If that works, I don't know what angle. I can't tell from you. So yeah, that is, I love painting with the Wink of Stella. I think it's really a fun way to color. So, and I did add a few butterflies from the brushed brass butterflies to there. Oh, and then this greeting. So this greeting is from the die cut shape is from the potted succulent dies. And all I did was add, and I'm going to use my edges because I don't have my minis here, is just tear, I don't even cut them. I just tear them and add that over here. What a beautiful cards. It could be for any occasion. Any occasion. Okay, so that's the second idea for this type of stamp. And the last one, I have several made. Oh, I'm losing my parts. Okay. All right. Change. This I'm calling the stitched rectangle layered card. And I made several. Coloring and non-coloring. So I'm hoping for your opinions. Okay, here's the first one. Coloring and plain. And you know, this is so elegant, just black and white. I just think it's beautiful. So I almost prefer the plain, but I'm going to show you another way. So, and here's the other card. I can put this up here. This one down here. So colored and plain. I mean, this feels finished, but this doesn't feel unfinished. I don't know. I kind of like, I'm torn because these are fun to do, but these are easy. So yeah, okay, so we're using the stitched rectangle dies. Oh, here's the potted succulent dies where this greeting is from. Did I even, oh I did, but I did bring that greeting. So this is the last die in that set. It's got lots of nice, besides going with the potted succulent images in that stamp set, you've got 4 greeting dies. Okay, so that's that. Now the stitched rectangles I used on these cards were the, let me look at my notes to make sure I'm telling you the right things. Second and the fifth from the largest. So on, let me skip these back into order here. So on this bunch of dies right here, it's the second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the last one. So that's what I used here. Now you could go larger and have a little bit, you know, larger frame, or the smaller part really works for these images. This size is just perfect. And then I added a black layer in between. So that's what I decided to do this like layered technique on here. Okay, so, you know, I don't even know, yeah, I have to show you because I want to show you the colored version. And I'm gonna, again, I guess I'm gonna, no, this time I'm going to do this one, just to do something different. Okay, bring in the Stamparatus and my layer here. So we're going to put this on here, making sure it covers. And I didn't give myself any tips, so hopefully that is maybe just a hair over this way. Can't put a whole lot of magnet use on there. Okay. All right, so black Memento ink, my favorite. Have your ink pads nice and juicy when you do this. Okay, nicely done. Isn't that so simple? Love the Stamparatus. Gosh. Yeah, let me move this. Okay. Yeah, now I just got ink on me. On the Stamparatus, the stamp that wasn't cleaned. All right, so on here, what I did was use my sponges, blending brushes to color. So I did use Sahara Sand and Balmy Blue. And there's the Balmy Blue, and I believe this is Sahara Sand. Yeah. Okay, we'll start in the middle. So I wish I had my smaller sponge or blending brush, but I was short for somebody's order, so I had to give mine away. I hadn't used them yet. But this is the indication where it would be wonderful to use the smaller new blending brushes that are in the mini catalog. So, so yeah, I wish I had those. So unfortunately, I don't. So I'm going to do the, what do you call this, stucco steps, probably. And you know, I'm just not going to worry about going outside the edges. I just want to add color to this. And it takes many times to add color. Now I will be honest with you, I did go back in with a couple, boy, my ink pad must not be very wet because it's taking a lot of color. But in some ways that's nice because then I don't have to worry about getting so much. So I want to cover this up too because this is like a wall. Once again, I think I might have used crumb cake when I did this earlier, and now I'm switching to Sahara Sand and finding that it's a little not quite as well inked as the crumb cake was. But I'm getting there, and I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll just stop. So it's almost helpful to have your ink pads less inked for this because normally when I sponge, I start off the paper and work my way on. But in this case, I will start with a darker area and then work into the open areas so I don't have a bunch of brush marks where you first start. So now I'm switching. What did I do with my blue? Oh, right here. With my Balmy Blue. So that's why a lot of times I'll start off here when I first start, but here I can actually start off the edge and get that sky or kind of a halo. And I know there's not sky on the bottom, but hey, I'm the artist. I can do what I want. So don't think too deeply about making cards. It takes the fun out of it. Okay, so I could easily leave it right there, but I couldn't. I had to play and add a few colors from using some blends. So bear with me. I'm not going to finish it all. I won't. But because this is like greenery, I wanted to add some greenery here. There's some pots, some plants, and then this is vine, so I want to add a little bit of green here. Just kind of play. You don't have to be perfect. There's a little bit of vine. I'm going to pretend this is a vine. Just adding some color. And the door I wanted to do, I'm just going to test it. Oh, that one's very light. Let's see. Sometimes the other end, and that's very dark, but I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to add color to the doorway and to the arch. And then the same thing with the pots. Let's see, there's a pot down here. I can't quite see. Oh, there's a pot here. There we go. Okay. And you can also then go back in and make your steps darker. So you can just play with it. Things don't have to be always exact. So I'm just going to leave that like it is. And then, because I like flowers, I'm going to pretend that there's some little blossoms and just add some little bits of pink here and there up near the vines and the flowers. Just a little hint of some pink. Why not? Just add a little bit of color. So you can keep going, you can do as much as you want, but that's kind of what I did for this card. Now to put this together, so you can see that I cut this out of one layer, but this is actually the layer on the card. So this goes on here, and that will go on here. I'm going to put it on a black card this time. All right, so this will go on first. Now that one I had an extra black layer, but I don't need that here. But what I really am wanting to show you is how I got that shorter greeting, because you see that? That's not the same. So sometimes I like the shape, but they're too long or too tall, too wide, whatever. So I like to change it. And I'm going to show you a way to get the most out of your greeting dies. And it's the same with punches. You can do the same with punches. I love finding new ways and new sizes or shapes with dies and punches. Yes, when you're the artist, you can do whatever you want. Try and get that straight. And remember to burnish, and like when I burnish and my hands might be full of ink or something, I turn it over and press that way. Okay, so now I started out, now here's a finished one, but what I did first was I stamped on it a couple pieces of scrap paper and I cut it out with the length of end I wanted on here. So I put it on there, but that end was at the end of my piece of paper, but I was okay with that. So what you do then, get this back in, is, I like to die cut. I like to have one clear plate that isn't die cut much so I can see through it. So that end is perfect, but now this end I want to get, and because this is dotted, it gets right in the grooves and it doesn't move. So I'm going to go one more dot over, and it kind of, if you wiggle it, it does not move. So just be sure it is in the right place before you die cut. Okay, and then you're going to cut the other end off, and it doesn't mar the first end because you had it in the dots. So it's just perfect. So see that? You made that long one into a nice short one. So cool. Love doing that and getting different sizes. So there are, let me show you on the black, the two sizes of this die. I think it's super cool. So then, oh, this is my card. So you can just add this wherever you want, and I decided to add it up there, and you could easily sponge that as well, but I think I'll leave it white. So what I'd like to do is, I don't have my minis with me, which I like to do. So I'm going to add a short piece at the end here. And because this is already layered 2 up, so I don't need to add dimensionals to this end. See how this side is going to be there? This will be way over here. So you don't need to add dimensionals there, and it works out where they end up being pretty even. Okay, there's the card. And then I have my inside layer here as well. So I did on these, oh, not all of them. What did I do? Oh, I thought I did something on the inside of some of these. Oh, here. I added just a little strip of designer paper in the inside. This one, I did a little something else with a couple strips of paper just to bring in some more color. So some days are harder than others. I hope today is one of the easier ones. So yeah, the sending support set is a nice set, but what do you think of these cards? Does it make you want this set now? Okay, let's see if we can get some of these on here. There's a ton of them. And yep, more. So I just had fun with it. I really think these scenic cards are just really fun. Yeah, oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the ideas, Carol. Appreciate that. So yeah, you can do as much or as little as you want. I mean, honestly, these cards, they could, and like I showed you in the swap cards in the beginning of the video, they stamped in multiple colors, from green to gray to all different colors. So hopefully I gave you some ideas for some of your stamps that you might be looking at thinking, what am I going to do with that? I don't want to spend all day coloring. And do a spotlighting technique, do it black and white. Yeah, you don't have to add color. And what I really like also is when you have a scene is to divide it and just cut it up into 3 pieces. Pick an easy size like I did, stamp it in a large piece of cardstock, then, you know, trim it down or think, okay, can I get by with 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/4, which adds up to 3 3/4. So you can do easy quarter measurements when you're doing that kind of card and you won't have as much trouble. Okay, so these will of course be on my blog later this week, or actually next week, most likely. I don't think this week is filled up. So yeah, but don't forget, if anybody wants a mystery box yet, there's 2 left. Now contact me please before you order, because because I have 2 left and I don't want you to place an order expecting it and not getting one. So please contact me before you do order. Another quick note is that my kits to go are available. Now this one has been very popular already. This one uses the Enjoy the Journey paper, and a lot of them are some neat fun folds. There's 2 of those, and here's another scenic card. So you can get the PDF tutorial. Of course, my team already got that. So Carol, she's on my team. She already got one. She was in our team newsletter. I love this one. This uses the designer paper. You can see 2 different sorts. This paper is also free with a $50 order. Then you can get the tutorial for $15. The kit includes 10 cards, envelopes, share of gems, and the twine for $28. And that is on my shop right there, flowerbugshop.com. So the other kit I have going right now is the Texture Chic, and that is with 10 cards and envelopes matching and 10 pretty cards. That is a non-stamping kit. So this one, you get 10 cards, you don't need any ink, you need adhesives, paper trimmer to trim some of the cards down. I give you the ribbons, and you'll get some, a share of gems or sequins as well. So they're all on my shop. So if you're interested, get on these before the 19th, because that's when I stop the ordering, and I order and prep the cards and get them out at the end of the month. So you can get the tutorials or choose the kit, which is actually the better deal. It's $20 in product for $28, and that $20 is before tax and shipping. So it's really $24, and you're getting all this for $4. So the pre-cut cards. Anyway, I love doing my kits. It's so fun to grab a group of products and make cards with just those. I'm focused on the colors that are in the designer paper, and I try and do some fun folds and just pick some either twine or ribbon and some gems and focus on it. And it's so fun to see what you can do with just those. It kind of stops your wild mind from going everywhere and trying to use all your products. So you focus. It's easier to focus. Okay, I think that's it. I will see you next Tuesday. Remember, every Tuesday is live on my Facebook, and I upload it to YouTube. So they are on YouTube as well. That's where you do want to subscribe to that, besides here on my Facebook page. All right. I appreciate you all watching me, and I hope you enjoy it. And please share or comment. I love to hear what you think. Okay, take care. Have a great week, everybody. And stamp something. Bye-bye.